On the occasion of the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, Somalia Journalists Syndicate called on the federal government of Somalia to investigate all crimes against journalists and bring the perpetrators to justice. More than 60 journalists have been killed across Somalia since 1992, and 45 of them were assassinated in targeted killings. Our reporter Wangi Gugi has the details.
The National Union of Somalia Journalists, with the support from United Nations Women and the International Federation of Journalists, commemorated this year's International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists in an event that was held in Mogadishu. Over 50 journalists from the local media were joined by senior officials from the federal government and the judiciary to remember slain journalists and to challenge the impunity enjoyed by armed individuals and groups who threaten, attack, torture and murder Somalia journalists. On the streets of Mogadishu, posters and billboards were placed with a clear message saying, "Stop impunity of crimes against journalists and say no to violence and harassment against women journalists." At the event, Somalia's Justice Minister Hassan Hussein Haji condemned the unpunished crimes against journalists, particularly the impunity of violence and harassment against women journalists. He noted that Somalia had witnessed a significant decrease in the number of harassments, killings and arbitrary arrests since the current government came into office in early 2017 as compared to the previous years. On his part, NUSOJ Secretary General Omar Farouk Osman stated that journalists in Somalia have been experiencing persecution, intimidation and physical assault, yet quick investigations and final verdicts are rare. He added that even though the government has this year taken steps against those who attack journalists, impunity still persists. Speaking on behalf of the judiciary, President of Benadir Regional Court, Musa Mwalim Mohammed, sent a message to Somalia journalists saying that the courts are ready to punish those who kill or attack journalists, but he urged them to always use the constitution to defend their rights. Last year, 4 journalists were killed, and this year the Somali media fraternity lost 2 colleagues, Muhammad Omar Sahal and Hodan Nalaye, who were killed in a hotel attack in Kismayo on 12th July. The number of resolved murder cases against journalists account to less than 1%, making the country more hostile for the media workers. British Ambassador to Somalia Ben Fender met several Somali reporters to show solidarity and support for the media freedom. In a video posted on his Twitter page, Ambassador Ben Fender noted that Somalia is one of the toughest places in the world to be a journalist.
Salam Alaykum. Today is a special day when people come together to press for an end to crimes against journalists. So I've been meeting some Somali reporters to show my solidarity and support. Somalia is one of the toughest places in the world to be a journalist. In the last decade, over 50 have been killed. People like the inspirational Hodan Nalaye and Mohammed Salal Omar, who died in the attack against the Asase Hotel in Kismayo last July. Others face threats to their safety every day. And the truth is that threats to journalists don't just come from Al-Shabaab. They also come from powerful interests in every part of the country. Why were journalists arrested a few days ago at a protest in Mogadishu? Or Ahmed Sheikh Mohammed in Garowe? Or Abdul Qadir Bare in Baidoa? Why were journalists sacked in Kismayo during the recent election campaign? Why is the killer of another able to hide out for so long in Gaalkacayo? And why did the authorities in Somaliland raid the offices of TV stations? Women too face systematic discrimination every day at the workplace. A free press is the backbone of a free society. Independent journalists, like independent courts, are part of any country's first line of defence against abuse of power and corruption. I welcome today's statement from Villa Somalia that they will ensure that justice is done, but that can only be the first step. So I hope you'll join me and these brave colleagues in saying that violence and intimidation against journalists has to come to an end.